Hi everyone, Coach Latanya here. Welcome back to Elevate Wellness. So happy to have my husband here today, guest starring today. I know you said you heard me say before. I wanted to get him on here, ask him some questions because I see in hues of purples and lavenders, and he sees black and white. So I wanted you to hear my perspective, his perspective, and I think it'll give you a better understanding or a more well-rounded view of how different you can be in marriage, but how it also works very well together too. So if you're looking forward to that, stay tuned. This is my husband, John. We've been married for 18 years and we've been together for.
18 years?
Yes. This year's 18.
2000, oh, 2006.
This
No,
year's
2003.
18.
No, we met in 2003.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we met in 2003. So we've been together for 21 years?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. 21 years. And it seems like only
21
yesterday.
years.
I told you, he's already
Just like
started.
21 years.
All right, so I have the questions on my phone, so I'm going to be looking down. You know, I like to have my notes. So, one of the things we're going to be talking about is marriage. If you watched a few of my videos prior to this one, it was about submission, my thoughts on that, and I kind of pulled in some Bible references also. So, to kind of give you an understanding of my perspective on that. So, I'm going to give you today the male perspective, my husband's perspective, so you can get a better idea. All right? So, let's start with, what is it like being married for 18 years now?
It's so hard to answer that question because it's like, we could say it's joyous, we could say it's terrible, right? It's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. It's learning. The whole, 18 years of learning is what it really is. It's of understanding and being able to. Tolerable is not the right word, even though that's the word I want to use. But it's the whole thing. The thing that comes to my mind is just it's been a learning journey in understanding. It's not about you. It's just not about you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been about me in a long time. So that's why learning is the key word here. Write that down. Learning.
If you don't have paper, yes, please go ahead and take notes. And then if you have any questions, comments, go ahead and leave it in the comment below. Maybe we'll do another video and address them. All right, so I look forward to doing that for you. I like what you said about it being a learning journey. I agree. Because I've learned so much about you, but then at the same time, you always change. You're not the same person. You evolve, you grow, and so that's why it's always learning. I think that it's an insult when I come to you and just assume that you like this or want that when you've changed. I haven't even given you the decency to explore you or learn you in that next season. So that, to me, that's an insult. It's disrespectful because I just assumed that I know you that well, or even arrogance even. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think to a certain extent that's where we have to understand the evolution of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's hard to keep up with sometimes because we do go through so much that we do change. But there are those times where I'm just like, why don't you know this part already? Right? Or you're expecting me to just know what you mean, but I don't. And we also go back and forth a lot of the times when you ask me, if you gain more weight than you wanted to, would I still love you? And I keep saying, I go back to it all the time. If you didn't, like, what if you stopped working out? Would I still love you? And I'm always like, no, I don't. It's not you, because there's certain things about you that make you you. That I had to realize and understand, and it's embedded in me. So I think that's like the whole picture point of view. It's the little things though that have to evolve on how your taste has changed, right? think about it. Like our first apartment, you were all about wicker, Pure One imports, and then now now we have plants all over the place, and we have no wicker, well, unless you're birdcage here. But other than that, we really don't have a lot of twigs in the house
Yeah, it's changed.
at all. Yeah, the taste has changed and everything. You've always had colors, always been all about the colors. But I think it's also just because of the kids that have made you. I think the consideration of things happening to the house. We're just talking about the house at this point, but everything, like even clothing. We were just talking about that last night, right? You're like, oh, some just get rid of this bikini that you had 20 years ago. That was for your fitness competition, right? That was the one for the fitness competition. Yeah,
yeah.
You were supposed to wear for the fitness competition.
Yeah.
That was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So those are the little things that have to change, but we have to evolve together and understand that our tastes. But it's with everyone. It's not even just about the marriage; it's about the people and understanding. Seeing old friends from college. Our taste has completely changed since then. Certain things are not tolerable anymore, and you realize that hey, we were friends for a season.
Yes.
And we went through our seasons together.
Yeah.
Marriage is different, where you're committed to that person. So I think that that's why learning is such a strong word in my head right now. God's really putting that word in me to just use that. It's learning. We're just learning a lot every day, all year, and all the things we've gone through.
Yes, and we have gone through it. I think that's another thing too, is that a lot of times I hear on social media, well, we're going through it, we're going through a hard time, or I'm not happy, or what's another one? We grew apart. I think that it really is like learning how to lean when we're changing. Like I'm seeing you lean, so now let me lean also, right? You're pivoting, so let me get ready to pivot also. And when you're changing, we don't always change at the same time, but just the awareness, the sensitivity that hey, you're changing now. Let me roll with you. Let me rock with you as you change, so that we don't grow apart. Because it's easy to grow apart, especially in this, in these Americas with the way that the work system and all of that, working long hours, or, going out of town, or all those different things. Like, it's easy to grow apart because you have so much going on in your own life, right? And you have your own things going on. So unless we really be intentional about leaning together as we grow, then I think it's very easy to grow apart. But you said something that was very interesting, and I wanted to expand on that. You said that if I gain weight, I would be a different person. And I hear sometimes women say something like, they want a man who has this, and he has a six-pack, and he has that. I want you to understand that when you are with someone who has different eating styles or eating habits than you, that can be stressful, especially if you like to go out and eat. They're going to be conscious of the carbs, the sodium. They're going to be conscious of everything they put in their mouths. When you feel like, oh, I just want to unwind with a bowl of mac and cheese, they're going to be like, I don't want to eat that. So you don't get to bond over the food. And so it kind of highlights, not that you can't be with someone like that, but it really highlights, like, I look at food this way, they look at food another way. So a lot of times we think, oh, it's finances only, but it's even the way the way you see food, right? Your perspective for food, your relationship with food, even that can cause issues also. But my husband and I we met in the fitness industry, so we knew we have that that love, that foundation, that health is and fitness is
it's a big part of your life.
A very big
part of our lives. Let's put it that way. It was a core of even our actual lifestyle at that time in our 20s.
And another thing too is, I'm training clients. I'm still in that world, and I would not be myself if I wasn't working out. If I wasn't eating right, I would not be the person he met. I get frustrated after 2 days of not moving my body. I need to move. I'm on a ball right now. That's just the person I am. That's my personality. So when he says that, he knows my personality well because we've been together for 21 years. So he knows that, hey, if you are not doing these things, if you're not eating a certain way, if you're not moving your body all the time, I'm either dancing or something, it would not be me. And so that's what he means when it wouldn't be the same, right? I wouldn't be the same, and I know I wouldn't feel good in my body. I wouldn't feel good about me because I'm not trying to achieve or become my better, the best version of myself. So I wanted to kind of piggyback around with that. What would you recommend? So we hear a lot of times people saying, well, it's better to kind of live with the person first. I was listening to this podcast. If you live with the person first, you get a better understanding of how they are. Should you marry that person? What would you say?
I think we're the wrong people to answer that. Because we lived together first.
We did. But looking back on that, what would you recommend? Would you not that it's wrong or right, but what would you say? Would you recommend?
So I actually don't mind the living with the person first. I think it's a little weird to say, but personally, I don't see it as the biggest problem in the world. I think you have to know that part about you and understand your boundaries. The only problem is, obviously, when you're just dating, there's not a commitment. The other person can just up and leave whenever they want to. There's no there's you have a it's a scapegoat, right? It's an easy way out if you get if you chicken out, right? So it's a little too easy if you're not married, but at the same time, I know my answer's pretty bad, but I think that people live together so long now, without remorse. I mean, if you're happy, you're happy. But if you're not happy, you should just marry them anyways. So, people don't want to have that piece of paper. But it's also like, well, then you don't want that person, because then that means you want that easy way out. So I guess, you shouldn't live with someone. Never mind my answer. Too much.
I understand where you're coming from, though. We lived together because
You had to get out of your place.
I had to get out of my place. I was I had been out of a really toxic relationship, and my life was being threatened, so I needed to leave that place. And my family is in the Carolinas, so I had no one here. I met my husband at the time. We cared about one another, so he, found a place for us, and that's how we moved in together. It wasn't something that we intentionally said, hey, let's live together. It just kind of worked that way. But even in that, where we were in that, I think that God led us to, right? Showed us ourselves a lot too, because it was hard. When you're living with someone, you do learn a lot, and it is easy to say, you know what, I'm out, especially if you're not really committed to doing the work and committed to learning that person, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's too easy to just walk away when there isn't that life commitment, and just living together. Again, you learn the habits, but I think it does make you stronger if you married first before you live together, because then you are forced. Kind of, people divorce pretty easily now. So it's like, it really is like nothing to get divorced at this point. But I think that if you are actually committed in understanding that part, your commitment means more than just, the habits are hard to deal with when you don't know the other person's habits. You don't know the other person's, their style. It's just like dealing with the kids. Like, we didn't know each other's cleanliness habits or eating habits or stuff like that. We didn't know that part. We could, just going back to your apartment, it's always like, well, did you just do this before I got there, or was it always like that? You know, and you never know. You never know. You know, but once you start living together, you get more comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone's got to not put you in your place, but you gotta look in the mirror sometimes.
Yeah, it makes you look at yourself. A lot of times we say, oh, well, this person. That's one thing I think I've learned about relationships in marriage is that, you know, you really have to look at yourself first, because it's like, well, this person's doing this, he's doing that, but what are you doing? And because it's always two-sided. What are you doing? And then why are you seeing it that way? That's the coming together. Like, it takes a while to come together. And the commitment part, I love what you said. Like, okay, if you love me enough, then why not do the paper?
Yeah.
Right? If you love me that much, then why not do if it's just a piece of paper and you love me that much, then it's just a piece of paper, right?
Right.
So
it's like, well, I want that piece of paper. You don't want that piece of paper, then you don't want me.
Exactly. Did you feel different when we got the piece of paper?
I don't think at first. At first it was like, all right, cool, we're married, blah blah blah. But then it's like when you really get into what, like, you have to do these things now, you know, especially when the kids come. That's the big one. It's when the kids come. It's like you can run away, but you're not supposed to, right? If you're as a male parts. You're not, in my opinion, you're not supposed to run away. You're supposed to deal with it. And we had to. But we went through our own problems.
We did.
We went through our own problems.
We were in our 20s.
Yeah.
We were in our 20s. And another thing, too, it's like you change. You're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s. You're going to change, too. The way you connect with one another, that changes. All of those things change. But the paper is important, I think, too. I felt different after the paper. And then I also realized after the paper that for me, when you live together before getting married, you assume you know everything about that person. So you don't explore in marriage. You just, it's just like it was before. But I feel like there's a depth that you can go to in marriage that living together cheats you out of. And, you know, we live together because of the situation, but that's what I also learned too. Like, if I had to do it again, I would not, because I would not explore you the same. I would just assume, well, I know what time you wake up. I know what shows you watch. I know, you know, and we had a good time. But again, I think that's where we were. And then I got pregnant. I gave my life to the Lord. We got married. Same year, 9 months pregnant, we got married. So we did what we could to turn it around. But hi there, Coach Latanya here. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you found it interesting. As you can see, my husband has a different perspective than I do, but it works for us. So I did this video, I split this video in half. You will receive the remainder of this video on the podcast, but it will be airing this Saturday. So if you've not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, so when I upload this podcast, you will be among the first to be notified. All right, so I hope that you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts, and I look forward to seeing you in the next. And until next time, live beautiful.